Mr. Kirti Azad is also joining us over the phone line right now. He was also part of that 1983 World Cup winning squad, which has now issued a statement in support of the wrestlers, appealing to the government also to look into their woes and plight immediately as well. Mr. Azad, when you see those images of, in fact, just from a couple of days ago, the plight of those wrestlers who were on their way to Haridwar to immerse their medals in the river Ganga, what are the thoughts that come to you?
Well, we understand the sweat and toil. We won the first Cricket World Cup in 1983 for India. And we realize the sweat and toil, the hard work that goes into winning medals. And once you see the plight of our wrestlers, especially the women, the girl child of India, and they having filed FIRs after the intervention of the Honorable Supreme Court, no action is being taken. So we thought that we should, and we are, with the entire fraternity of wrestlers who have been protesting, demanding justice. We stand by them. We have urged them not to throw their medals into the Ganga, rightfully, which they did earlier. And we feel that the early solution to this should be done as soon as possible.
But, the argument, of course, from the central government and the police, which is investigating, is that this is a matter which will carry on in terms of an investigation at its own pace, and hence everyone involved should have faith in the law and have patience.
We have full faith in the law of the country. I know, but justice delayed is justice denied. And you would understand that when the Nirbhaya case took place, the POSCO Act came into being. And there are two FIRs. One is the normal FIR in CRPC, IPC, and the other was in POSCO. And once you have a case registered under POSCO Act, then the arrest is imminent. And unfortunately, that has not taken place. Having said that, we feel that this should be resolved at the earliest. And the FIRs were filed after the Supreme Court intervened. For 1 month, the Delhi police didn't do anything. So we feel for the plight of our wrestlers, and we want that early justice should be met to them.
Okay. Mr. Azad, thank you so much for speaking to India Today, sir. Nikhil Nas, my colleague, is also joining me on the phone line right now. Nikhil, a big development there as far as this entire saga is concerned. The team that won India the 1983 World Cup in cricket has now come out and issued a statement in support of the wrestlers, Nikhil.
For me, yes. I mean, if you were to look at it as a larger picture, it does seem like a statement that is in support of the wrestlers, where they are talking about the plight of the wrestlers. They say that those visuals of them being manhandled is something, that shouldn't have happened. So that, in the sense, you do see it as support for the wrestlers. But then they do go on to mention that they would request the wrestlers not to throw their medals away in the Ganga. And I think this is a plea that most people had of the wrestlers. However, the fact of the matter is status quo still remains, follow me. I think the wrestlers, what they're saying, that, the Delhi police as well as the authorities, they're all dragging their feet over this entire issue, which is why they've reached the stage where they've even decided to take a step as much, or even throw their medals, their hard-earned medals into the river. Whereas what the 83 team right now is saying is asking them to be patient and to allow the law to take its course. And this is something that has come previously as well from various other quarters. But I think, as I said, the conflict still remains, and you can understand both sides of the story, why the wrestlers are aggrieved, because they feel not much has been done, whether the committee that was set up by the IOA, by the sports ministry, or even as far as the law is concerned, everywhere they feel that it seems to be taking a longer time. There was no even questioning of someone who's been charged under POSCO. So those things and those issues that the wrestlers are highlighting also stand true. Can you then really expect them to be patient? I mean, it's all very well asking them to be patient, but when they see like some, concrete action hasn't been taken, it is only then that they decided to throw those medals away. So as I said, I mean, it's good to see that the 83 team, legends, all of them in their own right, to come out in support of the wrestlers, but I think the core issue still remains.
The core issue also, I mean, it's interesting today itself, we've accessed the details of the two FIRs that have been lodged in this case, some very disturbing details where the complainants recount the horror that they allegedly had to go through, but also very significantly, because they've gone through those FIRs, they point towards the fact that they do not have faith in the oversight committee before whom they in fact presented themselves and narrated their ordeal as well, but felt that somehow there was an attempt being made to shield the WFI chief.
Well, that's absolutely right, Paulami. And as you mentioned, that now you've got the details of the FIR. A lot of those charges against him are very serious in nature. And so you can then, in the sense, empathize with what the wrestlers are doing at the moment. What they feel aggrieved by is the fact that, yes, the law will take its own course. But initially what Bajrang really pointed out, and there's a lot of merit in that argument, that, someone who's been charged under POXO, he wasn't even called upon by the Delhi police for questioning. Yes, the law can take its own course. We've also had examples in the past when you're charged under this act that you've had immediate arrest as well, and none of that was happened, which is why the wrestlers did what they did, trying to cross over the barricade while the parliament was being inaugurated, or them even traveling to Haridwar to throw their hard-earned medals. Now, what the 83 statement right now says is that, we urge them not to take any hasty decision in this matter and also hope that their grievances are heard. So, you're looking at it both ways. And one can understand that you would want the law to take its own course, but you also need to see it from the point of view of the wrestlers. And you'd expect, folks like the 83 team that have been sportsmen themselves, they know how much hard work goes into earning those medals. And the fact that the wrestlers even decided to throw those medals would, in the sense, be able to tell the former sportsmen as to what they're really going through. Why is it that they decided to take a step such as this, which definitely is going to be the last resort. So, as I said, yes, the statement from the 83 team has indeed come out, but when you read the charges, when you see how most people in the authorities have been dragging their feet over it, when you see that the voice of the wrestlers has gone unheard when it comes to the dispensation or even them addressing this issue, when you see all of that, you do understand where the wrestlers are coming from.
Okay. Also, Nikhil, there was recently a diktat which was read out by the UWW, which is, of course, the global wrestling body, which basically told the WFI and the Indian Olympic Association to go ahead and hold those elections within the 45-day timeline that they had in fact committed to, pending which there would be the possible suspension of the body itself, the WFI, and of course they would go ahead and take further action as well, which would mean that our athletes would be in fact competing under a neutral flag. So my question is, where do things stand in terms of holding those elections, Nikhil?
At the moment, Paulami, there is an ad hoc body in place, and they are going to try and have that free and fair election. And I think even the sports ministry has taken cognizance of that fact, because we've had issues in the past with other federations. Quite recently, you had a situation where the All India Football Federation was de-recognized by FIFA, and the Indian football team wasn't allowed to play a lot of international friendlies, and then they have to have their free and fair elections. We've seen it with various other associations in the past as well. So any sort of government interference then amounts to the federation being de-recognized by the international body, and that is something that the Wrestling Federation is facing at the moment.
All right. Okay.
I don't think they will.
Okay. Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details. They're cricketing legends there of the 1983 World Cup team now coming out and asking the wrestlers to have some patience, not immerse their medals in the river Ganga, and urging the government to find a quick resolution to their pleas.